All of you that are new, welcome. I know we've got a bunch of new women from the Notre Dame area because I was just there. It's really grateful to be here. Thank you for taking your formation seriously. I just want to today just kind of reflect on our purpose for this season. I think that we are entering. I want to share with you some of my thoughts about a beautiful convergence of time right now that's happening in our culture that I think is beautiful. And I think the call for women during this time, I think that, there's I would say that the last several years, we have witnessed almost a lot of exposure of the things that were not good. Let's just say that it's been happening for a long time. Our world has sort of been steeped in a lot of, I would say, immorality, a lot of lies, a lot of things that I think are not leading to women's greater fulfillment. But most women, those that are trying to do what's noble and good for our families, we just want to stay the course. We do want to we want to do what's good. We want to take care of our children, our family, and in some ways, we didn't necessarily want to be part of a culture war, a narrative. However, I think that what we have witnessed in the last several years is that we can't almost turn a blind eye to what's happening in our culture, and I can start with just the reality of women being undefined. It's very simple. I never thought in a million years I would ever come to a point where the crisis I would face was I have to define what a woman is. I mean, you just kind of think about that. And I've sort of been reflecting on just this quote that evil grows when good women stay silent and overwhelmed. And here's what I mean by that. Women, by nature, in the way we are biologically designed and spiritually designed by God, are really designed to be nurturers. If you think about the capacity of our brain, the way we're developed, our hormones, our bodies, the potential to have babies, even if you don't have a baby or you're not a mother, just the potential of the fact that our body is designed for it, it's a pretty powerful thing to think about. That makes us very different than men. But we are living in a time in the last 100 years where I think for the good, we needed to fight for equality with men, right? Because that was sort of the reality is that women did not have a voice. But I think it's sort of gone too far, and that's what we saw. And for most of us, we just want to take care of our kids. And for some of us, we're overwhelmed by taking care of our kids. We're overwhelmed with the things that are the demands of work. Women today have what I call irrational demands. We are expected sort of this perfect home life and also be achieving a lot of things outside our home and do it perfectly and do it well. And by the way, look good while you're at it. But it's sort of this silent expectation, right? In a sense that we don't necessarily have language for it, but it's the pedestal. We think of supermom, we think of superwoman, she can do it all, right? She doesn't need help. And so this narrative has seeped into our culture. And what we are seeing are just women who have no training, right? Like we don't have training in how to manage our mind, our homes, our emotion. And all of a sudden we've come to a place where we're realizing what happened to our world. Like why do people lie? Like you know, with everything that's happening in our culture, a lot of exposure, I'm like, the obvious thing to question is why do people lie? Like we don't even think about that. We just think, oh, all this corruption, all these things that's happening in the world, it's crazy. But like, where's where are moral standards? Like very basic. Where's our integrity? What happened to being a good woman? What happened to not being part of things that are not good? What happened to not being an accessory to the crime? I think that what we are seeing is women trying to do good in the world but don't know how to be good. Also, women who are so overwhelmed in their day-to-day life that they have no capacity to see what's happening in the world. We don't. I mean, we're just trying to survive our day. But what I think is so beautiful during this time is that women are called to be able to hold the standard in culture. And because we saw just the reality of our culture being so, I would say, confused, being demoralized, just a lot of the things that are coming of human trafficking, the things that maybe we're unaware of, men and women's bathroom, all these things. And it's not even sort of this like political, it's actually spiritual. And I think what I've come to reflect is that when women are not growing, learning, and training, they have no capacity to take care of themselves. You don't know how to take care of yourself. You don't know what you need. You don't know yourself. We have no capacity for self mastery. We don't even think of self mastery. We think of it as sort of optional. We think of the life that we've been given, and we're just supposed to figure it out as we go. Yes, there is a part of that because you can't control, but the idea that we're just supposed to just say, whatever I make out of this life, that's it. I mean, just if you just pause and ponder, it's like the injustice that women are supposed to figure out motherhood, who to marry, the career, how to make decisions without the training necessary to actually come to the right decision, but also support those decisions. It's really kind of an injustice to women. Like, it's so basic. Let's just think about it. 50% divorce rate. At that 50%, how many are unhappy? And we talk about, therapy for a marriage couple. I am a big proponent, but we never think, well, what's the cause of the lack of, like, why is there divorce? Let's start with how can we train women with the skills to actually find the right person? Isn't it so basic if you think about it? Like, it's almost like we bypass a level of logic because we're going so fast and we're not thinking our problem is really foundational. We've complicated it because we have no foundation. My children are a mess. It's motherhood is so hard. Why is it hard? Like, why? Is it possible that we maybe have an oversight that there should be training prior to making a decision to get married and become a mother? There's so many things that I think because our world is going a million miles an hour, that we're not pondering, I would say, the root cause or solution because we're just trying to make dinner and make sure the kitchen's clean and make sure we're trying to figure it out. And the demands are not sort of the demands the way it was 100 years ago. You have like 50 texts in a week and 100 emails to get to and 50 activities for every child. So even if you're a stay-home mom, you need a secretary, if not two, if you've got more. I mean, it's almost like we need an overhaul of like, okay, this isn't working. Women are dying without ever living. I mean, that's the truth. And we are living a life where we're spending most of our time proving our worth. Let me show you what I have achieved because I don't value myself enough because the world tells me what makes me valuable is I have all these accolades. This is how much money I make. This is how many things I've achieved. And so I'm going to just go into the rat race of proving I've made it to the top. Look at me. Look what I have achieved. I mean, the mental exhaustion of questioning your value as a woman could lead a woman into depression, could lead women into midlife crisis. This is what's happening. And this is what's happening to your sister, to your mother, to your neighbor, to your friend, to your coworker. But it's happening in such a fast rate that most women don't know it's happening. We're just experiencing sort of this, I would say, cancer. And it's not a physical cancer, but a spiritual cancer where we're like, something's not right. Something is aching. Something is hurting, but I have no idea what to do about it. And I don't even know where it's coming from, January. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm just going through the motion and I have no end in sight. And part of it is because we don't have a school to teach women how to design a future. It's like if I ask women, where do you see yourself 3 years from now? Who is it that you're designing 3 years from now, 1 year from now, 5 years from now? Like, I don't know, I've not really thought, I mean, not really thought about it. I mean, I think my kids are grown. I think we go to the kids are grown. And if I push them, we're like, well, maybe I don't know. And these are great women. women who have such noble capacity. And so then we go to the 3 years and we're like, I don't know, I feel like I'm left behind. Like everyone else is doing something, and I start to look at everybody and I'm like, I don't want to compete and compare because and we start to judge. And we start to worry about what we've achieved. And it's all happening under our breath. It's all happening under our breath. And then this would not be you because you're here in school, but then we say, well, we invite you to train. And they're like, I don't need it. We have this idea that we can live a beautiful, meaningful life, the life that we all desire and deserve. Because who says, I want to sign up for a life where I'm in constant stress, January, and I don't know who I am, and I don't even like myself, and I don't even know what I'm doing in the future. But hey, God's will be done. We almost blame God for the life we don't like. How unfair is that? When God is saying, I've given you massive potential and I've given you a call unique to you for such a time as this to do something noble and beautiful with your life, and you're not taking it seriously, and this is not you because you're obviously here taking it seriously. But what I think is happening that I'm seeing is that we are finally tired of being tired. And I think it came in a time where it's like, I don't want to be lied to anymore. It kind of made us rethink a lot of things. You know, when you're forced to think about things that you probably thought was not to be questioned to be true, such as your definition of what being a woman is, you start to think about everything else. And because I see a lot of women saying, Jamie, I've never been really political, but to be honest, like this is getting nuts. Like I don't want my daughter playing with, but I feel so helpless. I think what's so beautiful when the exposure of lies and evil and just the immoral life, what I think we're seeing is we are entering a new era where because it was abundantly in our face, we are rejecting it. You know, like I was going bowling and there was a music video, and this is a song that I hear because we just play the music in our house and we like to dance. And I saw the music video. I was like, that's a satanic ritual on a bowling alley. I was like, just another day, you know, like you're playing bowling, you're like, oh, there's a whatever that is. I'm like, wow, this is like normal. Women with like, I mean, we've normalized indecency. We've normalized such immorality that we don't question almost the exposure of corruption. We don't even think, well, why do people lie? Like, why? But here's the beautiful thing, because it has come to a head, what we are seeing is a rejection of an immoral life. And you know why we're seeing it, and we can see the convergence of it. I'm doing a mandate for women. If you're not webinar tomorrow, and I'm going to bring this all together for you because I'm going to sell you on the fact that this is the most beautiful time to be a woman. What we are seeing is that media no longer has a monopoly. And here's what I mean. I just looked at Vogue magazine, Cosmopolitan, all these different magazines that were for the last 50 years. They determined the narrative of women. If you were pro-life or pro-marriage, you didn't belong in there. If you didn't believe in the reverence of motherhood, you sort of didn't belong there. There was a kind of like a marginalization of anything that deemed to be moral. I just looked them up, and Vogue, their numbers are all down. I remember when I was little, everybody watched the Grammys. Did everybody watch the Grammys? I was like the thing that like your parents watch the Grammys. No one's watching the Grammys. No one's watching the mainstream monopoly that has set the narrative that to be a woman worthy of admiration, you have to look this way, make this much money, earn this many accolades. We have lost the reverence of women simply because they were created by God. But that's now changing. That's the beautiful part. And we know that because I was writing about this. Ninja Kids, what's it called? Ninja. Is it Ninja Kids? Ninja Kids, Ballerina Farm, Dude Perfect. They have more views than any of these Vogue mainstream. They do. But it's really kind of beautiful to witness. We're looking for wholesome entertainment. Is that exciting? I was just messaging this woman who has 1 million followers, And she's 7 children and she's have this comedy about 7 children. I just thought, I just messaged, I was like, you're not the new entertainment, but your entertainment is beautiful because it's bringing meaning in the world. What am I saying to you? I'm saying to you that we are living in a time where I think people are rejecting evil, and we need good women to be so formed, so trained to become leaders and voices in actually rebuilding this next time in history. Women who are faithful, women who love their country, women who have moral values, women who want to be able to be a voice of contribution at home, but also revere their marriage. Women who are not advertising how hard motherhood and life is and being a wife is because they are training every single day. I think the new movement that I think that's going to happen is that women are going to be studying all over the world. We're going to say, you know what? I'm done with these lies. But we can't change anything unless we change. You know that. So imagine a world where women were studying themselves, studying each other, studying the world, and studying together. Can you imagine the capacity of women when they're working together and working on themselves? That's the only way we're ever going to change politics or media. It's the individual woman who becomes a master of herself so she doesn't compromise her value. That's exciting because your daughters, your sons, your future generation, you don't have to be stuck in perpetual generational anxiety, stress, or indecision, because now you can say, you know what, if my daughters get a head start in training and understand dreaming, designing their life, living a moral life, learning the skills, they have a head start in becoming what? Leaders. So what I think you are here for, I don't think you're here because you're just here to train and make your beautiful life. That too. Because a beautiful life is irrefutable. A beautiful woman is irrefutable mark of God. Make no mistake, the definition of woman that we have that's been shoved down our throat has been so one-dimensional, it's only been physical. But beauty is irrefutable when it incarnates both the material and the spiritual. You want to look good, feel good, and be good. Who doesn't, honestly? I'll just look good. I don't want to feel good. I don't want, no, right? And so I think you're training here and you're here, you're studying, yes, to make your life beautiful, but actually because you've got work to do to make this world more meaningful. Isn't that exciting? And it doesn't mean you're going to go out after this, and be like, kids, I'm leaving you because I've got to go to the board, to the student board. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a constant desire to grow oneself so that when the opportunity comes, you know where to place yourself. It's that mothers are studying together, single women are studying together. Like, have fun, go dancing. I dance a lot as a single woman. I went salsa dancing, but I was studying. I was the only one I knew I was studying, but I was studying as a single, I was studying men. I was studying myself. I was trained to. But imagine if mothers studied mothers, mothers studied their children. This is the new movement, ladies. This is how we're going to actually have a chance at building a flourishing culture when every woman is flourishing. When you can wake up in the morning and say, no, it's not perfect, but I love my life. I know what I'm after. I am crying my way to try to pursue it. It hurts. I'm struggling, but boy, do I feel alive because I know in 1 year, that's the vision. That's the mission. I know where I'm heading January. Even though I'm in the valley of tears right now, life can be better because a great HELL is to know that there's nothing better in this world, that this is it, that you don't have a dream, that you say, this is as good as it gets. No way. We are to what? Design a future ordered towards what? What is noble and what is good. But it doesn't just happen. You have to make it happen and you surrender it to God. But it's like, I'm going to design my house, but I'm not going to look at what other houses out there. I'm just going to figure it out on my own. No. You say, I'm going to design a beautiful life. I'm going to look at the beautiful marriages, the beautiful career, what women are doing. What is it to be a mother? You're going out there and you're saying, show me what a beautiful architecture is. And I'm going to design it. Show me what a beautiful woman is. I'm in search of it. And I'm going to train my way to becoming that woman. And I know that even though I'm not there, I will be in 6 months. And every 6 months, I don't recognize who I am. That is your goal, to be unrecognizable to yourself every 6 months because you've gained such formation that you are in awe of God's mercy that you could be a better woman every single day. Isn't that a fulfilling way to live? The alternative is to be stuck into conversation that brings no life and no meaning and be stuck into catty things that has no purpose. But women are stuck there because they just don't know how. We need a revolution of conversation. You get to be that. You get to be in your women's group or in your church and you say, okay, let's talk about the fashion and all these. But tell me, where do you see yourself in 6 months? How do you feel? Tell me that dream. Tell me, what are you working on? What's the roadblock? This is crazy. It's totally not working out. We can laugh our way through it. Actually, we can cry too and laugh. But let's figure out a strategy to get out of it. That's the friendship that we are aching for. Ladies, do you see what I see?